Nice to meet you all today, and a big thanks for Professor Allam who gave us this opportunity to meet and discuss and share our ideas and approaches about the role of women in peace and development. My name is Sonia. I'm a PhD student researcher at Seoul National University. I'm majoring technology, management, economics, and policy. And I'm investigating the gender differences in the acceptance of mobile learning by job seekers in African and Arab countries. To investigate this question, I'm using the IoT model, and I'm planning to extend this model by adding a new determinants for this construct, which is the digital divide or gender digital divide. And when I added this determinant, I find myself in front of a very important question. Does digital technology raises gender inequality? And to answer this question, I examined the evidence and the international reports about this relationship, and I examined the reports and papers published in the last 30 years, and this draws to the conclusion that although that the promotion of gender equality is one of the promises of digital technology raises gender inequality. In developing countries, women are at disadvantage relative to men when accessing and using digital technology. The evidence shows that the access and the use of digital technology by the women are affected by a number of factors, which find their roots in the theory related to relationship between gender and technology, like technology phobia, women technology phobia. But even if early feminist theories are pessimistic, very pessimistic about the aggressive masculinity of technology, but early 19th century and today's approach are more optimistic about the ICT's effect in empowering women and transforming gender relations. Evidence answers also the question about how digital technology can promote gender equality. And in 2016, World Bank answered this question in the World Development Report, Digital Dividends. And the World Bank said that digital technology needs analog complements to decrease gender inequality. What are analog complements? Analog complements is directly related to the countries and governments policies. So it's related to the digital technology environment. To have digital equality and gender equality, we should have good analog complements. And to have good analog complements, we should have a good country's policies. I'm still working on these issues, and I'm open to any kind of collaboration and observations. So please feel free to contact me if you are interested in my research, and thank you.
Okay, yeah, she sent this early morning because she suddenly realized there's 8 hours different. So I think we will finish here unless there's another question or is there any other issues?
No, I didn't think so. Does anybody like to raise anything right at the end?
We will make all these videos available for everyone in our website. I mean, once we get them, from the morning, all of them, they will be online. You can access them. And also, please look into our website, which is mekei.org.uk. Yes?
You know what would be very interesting? Even
Yes.
To get perspective from a student, which topic we should actually put more emphasis on when it comes to gender equality. I mean, from my point of view, I think education is a big factor. But for
From what we
someone
got
else-
here in the morning, all of them talk about education and knowledge, they say.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem, why women. I remember that also guy from Nigeria, he
So
mentioned.
as a student, how can I contribute, I mean, in this platform, in the university, to talk about different agendas, how we can bring all these agendas on a common ground? Because I'm from Somalia, once again. When we talk about health, education, human rights, they're all interconnected. You can never talk about health without taking into account education. You can never talk about education without taking into account employment. So all these areas are interconnected. So as a student, how can we talk about different scenarios and without putting so much emphasis on one and without analyzing? I don't know if I'm making sense.
I mean, there was a workshop organized by the United Nations in our university at Sussex at that time.
Okay.
Last year, end of 2016. It was about gender equality in science, technology, and innovation. And I remember the UN came there with American Society for Science and lots of big names. And one of the guys from the UN gave example, interestingly, from Sudan. And he said in Sudan, there were 3 ministers women. And he was right, because there was a minister of ICT, minister of higher education. Right now, we have 3-4 ministers in Sudan that are women. And he said, probably this could be an example. This was said in my university, as an example to wait and see whether women actually can make a difference. Because he said now they were being empowered. The example was given was Sudan, which is a developing country, African country, because we're talking. And he said, probably we will wait and see. Now we have women's leading ministries in the country, 4 or 5 of them. But I was surprised because I sat in something called Uganda Convention in this country, 2014. They invited me. I was sitting on a table. 9 ministers were women. So that was what surprised me. The UN itself got their figures wrong, because if they were quoting Sudan as having 3 or 4 women are ministers. I remember myself, I was sitting with them here in one of these big rooms, 2,000 people, 9 ministers from Uganda. So Uganda got like 9 ministers, I remember, women. And another country was being quoted, one of the best in Africa is not Burundi, or where women are more, those who in leading jobs are women more than men. Where Kigali, Rwanda. It's quoted by the UN of some reports. There is so many women leaders in Rwanda than any other African countries. So even within the developing countries, the talk we have, there are examples. But so I think what the UN was saying, they're saying maybe we can, after 2-3 years or 4 years, if these women are still continue leading these ministries, we will go and evaluate. Have they done better than men, or they done the same, or what were the challenges, have they succeeded, not succeeded? But if you want to carry this conversation, we would love, WAS is a forum. It started in this university 19 years. That's why we keep coming back to UAL, because this is where we actually launched this organization. It was launched from the Dockland campus, and we continue now. The UN, our conference is next month in the United Nations. The United Nations, there is one panel completely for women. They are very keen on gender and women. This is on the 10th of April. There is still time to join this conversation. It's going to be in the United Nations. It's a big conference about the public-private partnership role in the implementation of the 2030 agenda. But there is a big panel on women and gender issues. There's another panel which is very important for the youth, young generations. So the UN now is very keen on these 2 things. And people like you, the young, you can see their voices are different than us. We are old. So the way their perspective is different. So the UN is taking this very seriously. I know, I have seen this by myself because I can see them. And every time we talk about the session, out of 20-something sessions, one in particular is on gender, particular role of women, and one is in the yours. So I think if people they want to carry this one, please go to our website, join us. I would like to finish, unless you have something, but I would like to finish with something. This morning, when I was driving, of course, to come here earlier, it's a long way. I had to drop my daughters earlier to the school, so before. And I remember my youngest daughter, which is 8 years old. I tried to find the video here. And I said to her, what do you know about, I'm dropping you earlier today because I need to go to university. We are celebrating Women's Day. And she said to me, what do you know about Women's International Day? I said to her, do you know? She said to me, yes, I know. I said, okay, tell me. And that was live on Facebook. What she said to me, when you talk about celebrating Women International Day, you should remember it's not women celebrating, it's also men celebrating Women International Day. So she was educating me early, 8 o'clock in the morning. It's not about women, it's about men. Because I always believe if men have a critical role to play in order to get the best out of women. That's how I see it.
It can be the other way around. If they
could be.
You can pull them up.
But this is what we say. So number one. So I think the celebration should not just be about women, but about the whole society. Because I think, like Sihama Kafafi earlier, remember that from New Zealand, she said we should all work hard to get the best out of men and women. Not really women, I think, because women, they are already leading, I think so. And the second thing, I don't think they are not, they're leading in lots of fronts. The second thing, I think we need to, maybe to recognize that we need to celebrate this every day, not really every one day in a year, because women are progressively, I think, challenging all this stuff, if you like, all this stuff. No, yes, but as you can see, we are no longer in that situation where women are, I mean, I know we hear all the stories in developing countries and so on, but the example the UN gave with all in African countries, Rwanda, Sudan, I gave you the one of Uganda, these are all developing countries. So I think situation, no, this is fact. I sat with them, 9 ministers are women. Rwanda was being quoted the highest one.
They should look at the statistic in Somalia. 0.
No, of course. Even in this country, women are still fighting. You remember Theresa May just celebrated last year, I think, how she is progressively getting more women into her cabinet. But it's a big problem everywhere. But we cannot really ignore the fact there are great progress happening. Uganda, one of them, Rwanda, one of them. These are developing countries. I think the second thing. The third thing, what we do here is, as you can see, we work across discipline, and that's what makes this organization very successful. When we created this back in 1990, 2000, the idea people came, the first meeting actually was in London here about you cannot solve these global problems unless people work from across disciplines. So I am an economist, he's a lawyer, she's from business, and this is what the mistake many years ago. And I remember we made a very important research and presentation, 9 times we presented back in 2000, and we argued if people do not approach this from a multidisciplinary perspective, it will fail. And we said the Millennium Development Goals, they are not going to be achieved in Africa. We declared that, and we said it by research in 2003 in Los Angeles, not Los Angeles, in yes, Los Angeles, where that bridge is, Los Angeles, yes. And everyone, we said none of the African countries is going to achieve any of the Millennium Development Goals. It took our government here another 3 or 4 years to say that by Gordon Brown when he was our Prime Minister. He said, we now realize none of the African countries is going to achieve. Yes. So the outcry for the Sustainable Development Goals. So anyway, we believe in multidisciplinary. So whatever your background, please come along. This is a platform, even if you look to the papers we're going to be presented in the UN, our conferences have people from public health perspective, doctors, medicine, lawyers, accountants, marketing, innovation. It is the only conference which brings all these people in one roof. And I remember there was Professor Hunoud, he was here, the dean of the, from Malaysia, the dean of the law school in, what is the name of it? Islamic University. He was here in 2006, one of the keynote speakers downstairs. He said, this is when he was traveling, he was a little bit feeling uncomfortable. This is the first time he said he was traveling to deliver a keynote at a conference. Most of the audience are not lawyers. He always go to lawyers' conference. And I think that's where you can see it. But I invite you to come to this next month, if you can still, it's next month. If you need to get in touch with us, all these platforms are available. And UAL kindly gave us a small office here to use when we are in London, which we are very grateful for UAL, and Siraj is not here. So we will be here, but most of the time we're not here. But please look into our thing. We are very pleased to confirm we have just published the first journal on women and entrepreneurship in the Middle East, which is going to be focusing, which is in partnership with something called University in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. What is it? IFAT University. IFAT is started as a women-only university. And they contacted us to start this journal because they said there's lots of women in Saudi Arabia, particularly in Jeddah area, where they are either divorced or they are single mom, where they need to start up some business. And we started this journal, and so you can see people that are very progressively addressing these issues. So browse here, everything in our website, all our journals are free, you can download them. And if you know any institution in developing countries, they want to access the journals which we publish with publishers like Emerald, which is commercial, we can give them access through the publisher to download it everywhere in the developing countries. It has to be developing countries. Africa, Middle East, under the World Bank category of developing countries. I would like to finish thanking everyone. Of course, UAL hosting this institution. Siraj is not here. Please convey our... And it's not new. UAL always hosting us, and we really appreciate the support and the help from UAL. But I want to say something. Nadia, I only met her here, but she was been helping her over the phone, over the email. She booked, and thank you very much. You have to move the room 3, 4, 5 times, right? So, and moving this lunch 3 times. I think this lunch has been moving all that. But thank you very much. You know, it's a very busy time. Jessica, thank you very much for sharing this. She's been under pressure too. But the research you have done it's very good, really, to understand what's going on. Thank you to everyone. And also Selma, everyone. We have many people behind here, haven't seen them. Patricia was communicating with some of you. And I think I will say here, because on record yet, all those from Seham, from New Zealand, Sonia from Korea, Angie from Bahrain, and who else we got on Skype? So we got 3, 4 people. And thank you very much for you to travel, and you came with your luggage. This is a huge commitment. I think we need to give you a round of applause. Thank you very much. Professor, thank you very much. Thank you, Dan, and also to those who just left. Thank you very much, and we will finish here. Of course. Mun'im is the most important person for this organization, because I have been argued for 20 years. If you don't archive these things, it's all lost here in this room. And the matter of the fact, the last conference he recorded from the Hilton, we got an email from head of department from Ahfad University, which is in Sudan. Rural development professor. He said, could you please direct me to that conference, because we need these videos for our students. That's why every money we get, we use it for videos. So he is going to be very rich with us. So, because we think this is the important part. So all your lectures will be online. Go to our YouTube channel. There is plenty of them. All of them are here. So please direct your students, friends. There are many videos, Nobel Prize winners, everything. Many videos from all over the world. This is the last UN event. You can see them. It's everywhere.
Brilliant.
And the list will go on and on. So please direct your students, your friends, everyone. And thank you very much. So happy to see you again.